We are wired to survive. From our earliest cellular biology, we learn a specific definition of strength. It is the ability to exert control, dominate a threat, and secure our own existence. We bring that exact same operating system to human history. The events recorded in the 15th chapter of Mark directly challenge our assumptions about how power actually works. If you look strictly at the external facts of the story, you see an innocent man betrayed by his friends, crushed by the state, and executed on a cross. From a purely analytical standpoint, the forces of malice and control achieve a total, flawless victory. Yet this catastrophe functions as a masterclass in a highly resilient form of power. It is a strength built on endurance rather than dominance. Strength here is measured by the immense, difficult courage required to surrender the self. It is a capacity to remain steady when every worldly tool of control has been stripped away. Consider the trial before the Roman governor, Pilate. He holds absolute political authority. He knows perfectly well that Jesus is innocent. Yet when faced with the volatile pressure of public opinion, he caves. Pilate's failure is highly specific. He possesses the knowledge, but he lacks the conviction to act on the truth when the stakes get high. This is a familiar human trap. Moments arise where the path is clear, but the desire to protect our comfort pulls harder than our commitment to honesty. Breaking out requires shifting our primary question. We must move past what people think and focus on what is faithful. Integrity emerges the moment doing the right thing becomes more valuable than being accepted. This dynamic plays out during the execution process. Soldiers dress him in a cheap purple robe and force a crown of thorns onto his head. It is a calculated physical humiliation. The target of this attack offers a reaction that confounds the attackers: absolute silence. He doesn't argue or attempt to bargain for his status. The human ego is often inherently fragile. To survive, it relies on a steady stream of external validation and recognition. By contrast, an identity rooted in its own certainty remains motionless under fire. It does not lose power when it is misunderstood or attacked. Ultimate strength is found in this quiet resilience. You know exactly who you are, and you don't require the rest of the world to agree with you to prove it. As the crowds hurl taunts to save himself, we see a collision between the instinct to protect the self and the decision to love even when it is costly. The real conflict happens inside the person. We find ourselves navigating the instinct to strike back or to protect our status. And as the execution reaches its climax, darkness swallows the landscape. Jesus cries out in a state of total abandonment, giving voice to the experience of being entirely alone. By speaking his agony directly into the void rather than suppressing it, the distance between the sufferer and the divine collapses. The temple curtain, the ancient physical symbol of separation, violently tears from top to bottom. This surrender provides a model for navigating our own pain. We move from an isolated, defensive posture to a state where honesty with God replaces the need for self-protection. The immediate aftermath offers no visible success. A heavy stone is rolled across an ancient tomb. Hope appears buried. But hidden does not mean absent. The most significant growth almost always happens beneath the surface. It occurs in those seasons of waiting where the lack of visible progress creates the space for an internal shift to take hold. We are left with a choice between two ways of existing. We can continue living defensively, asking, "How can I protect myself?" Or we can step into vulnerability. This surrender ends the exhausting work of self-preservation. A different way of living begins when we stop calculating how to stay safe and start asking how to be useful to others.